Good morning everybody, and I hope you've all survived the snow. If you're watching this from the southwest of England where I am, you know we've had a pretty rough couple of days, but it is sunny out there and the snow is melting and I am back on board. So I have been researching like a little demon for this video. Now this might be a lengthy video, I apologise for that in advance, but what I have done is I've tried to just go through some of the main buzzwords, some of the main ingredients that are thrown at us in advertising and marketing for skincare, particularly anti-aging skincare, but obviously a lot of these ingredients are relevant right across the board. I have used my knowledge as a beauty therapist and having worked with Elizabeth Arden and Logica and Eve Taylor and various different sort of high-end retail and salon brands, and done some online research. I am not a chemist. I am going to give you the information that I've gleaned over the years and also that I've looked at online. So I'm not a doctor, I am not a chemist. If I get anything wrong, I apologise. And you must do your own research as well when you're looking at and trying products. But I'm just going to try and cut through some of the confusion, and because some things are talked about with a couple of different names. So grab a cup of tea, relax, or a glass of wine, and we will go through these for you. So lots of notes, so I will keep disappearing, I apologise. First one, okay, book, AHAs. Now, AHAs, alpha hydroxy acid. You won't see these in every product, but you will see them in a lot of products. And AHAs you will see in skincare products for all age groups. AHAs are acids, okay, and they come from plant sources and milk. They're a group of acids, so you will see AHA, you might also see glycolic acid, you might see lactic acid, you might see malic acid. Now lactic, you might be able to work out, comes from milk. Malic acid, I believe, comes from apple, I think it comes from apple pips from memory. Glycolic acid, I believe, is from sugars. And what's the other one? Oh, salicylic acid. Salicylic acid, if you can find that in a spot treatment, really, really good for helping to dry up little areas of spots. But basically they all work in a similar way. They remove the top layer of dead cells from the skin, those flat clogging dead cells. So that really helps with freshening the skin, it helps with smoothing the skin, it helps with people that have congested skin, lumps, bumps, spots. It can also work a little bit deeper in the skin and can actually help thicken slightly the deeper layers of the skin, which gives the skin a more firm appearance. So really great for someone like me. I've got lumps and bumps and open pores. I always look for AHAs. Generally things you can buy in the shop are not going to be too strong. If you're ever worried about any product that has an acid or anything else in it, do a patch test first. But generally those of us professionals in the salon, we get our hands on much higher concentrations of these products. We can, and I know when I've worked with Dermalogica, they have a scale of levels of exfoliation, and we introduce our clients gently and gradually on that scale to make sure their skin can tolerate. But generally most things in the shops, most people can tolerate, but do a patch test if your skin's really sensitive. Then on to antioxidants, which is something that we hear everywhere in food, in skincare. What antioxidants do, in a nutshell, is they protect our skin from environmental stresses. So pollution, just everything that the aging that the world throws at our skin. They're really important for our insides. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not going to go into that, but I know that I always try and make sure that I have antioxidants in my food, and antioxidants are brilliant for the skin. They can calm an irritated skin, they can firm skin, they can help even out tone, and they can help reduce the look of wrinkles. Basically, they can help treat those conditions, but they can also help slow down the progression of the look of aging in the skin. They won't slow down the aging process, nothing does that, no miracles, but they can slow down the outward appearance. So skincare with antioxidants, definitely want to be looking for that. Argan oil. I know this has kind of become the buzz oil. Argan oil is great. Okay, it's made from is an oil that comes from the kernels, so that the sort of the nuts of an argan tree. It's got beneficial lipids and fatty acids, both of which are really good for lipids. Basically, are you know, the oils in there, and there's antioxidant vitamin E in argan oil. There are other oils out there. Don't think you have to have argan oil. Some products that say they're argan oil are actually a small percentage of argan oil, sometimes even in a mineral oil, like a petroleum-based oil. They're not going to be so beneficial for the skin. A natural oil is always accepted deeper into the skin. If you do not have dry hair, for example, argan oil is not necessarily going to be change your skin or change your hair. Look at the product, look what else the product does. Oils are great for nails, they can be great for skin, they can be great for hair, but generally you want a product that's doing more than one thing. So just putting argan oil on your hair isn't necessarily going to make a difference, or on your face, but having those beneficial ingredients as part of an overall recipe can be really good. Basically, what I'm going to say is all of these things that I'm talking about today don't really work on their own. Everything works better in a nice combination, and I'm going to sort of finish up by suggesting a couple of products that I've seen that claim to have a little bit of everything, and I'm going to trial those, and I'm going to ask you which ones you want me to trial. So something else you might see in products is bisobolol. You might see that in sun creams. You might see that in products designed for a sensitive skin. You might see this in something for children. Sometimes you see it in lip balms. It's either a natural extract, which has come from chamomile, or it can be synthetic. It can be created, which doesn't. A synthesized version of a natural extract does not mean it's not going to work, does not mean that it's a cheap version. Sometimes it just means they're more stable, and they survive the process of manufacture better. And it's an anti-irritant. So when you see bisobolol, there's another one you see sometimes, allantoin or allantoin. You see that in soothing products, calming products. So bisobolol and allantoin, if you ever see them talked about, they are soothing and calming. And normally I look for those in after suns and things like that. Another B, bismuth oxide, sometimes can be found as the primary ingredient in mineral makeup, and I'm using some mineral makeups at the moment to do a review for you. It gives the kind of shimmery finish in mineral makeup. Some mineral makeups are matte, but some mineral foundations have a natural gleam, which can look really lovely on the skin. And very often there is a school of thought that is healthier for the skin, the bismuth oxide, than talc. Some people don't like talc, they don't like using talc. I think I'm right in thinking talc is a less expensive ingredient. So generally people prefer a bismuth oxide based mineral makeup. But because of the shape of the mineral, even when it's micronized, like even when it's so tiny to make the makeup, it does have a slightly sharper, more angular shape, this tiny little fragment of mineral. So it can be an irritant to some people. So if you've ever tried a mineral makeup that's got a nice gleam and a glow and you found it irritated your skin, it may be the bismuth oxide in there. It's not a bad ingredient. I tend to avoid bismuth oxide based mineral makeups because I don't want particularly glowy foundation. I like my foundation nice and matte because I don't want it showing up my lumps and bumps. I prefer to sort of add my glow where I want it to be. But when you see bismuth oxide, that's what it is. It is a glowy mineral. Can be an irritant, but isn't always. Right, sun protection, broad spectrum. Okay, that is really, really, really important. If you're buying anything that claims to be a sun protection, it needs to have broad spectrum protection, and it kind of explains itself. It protects the skin from UVA and UVB. So it will protect your skin from sunburn, premature aging, the rays that can create melanomas and things in the skin cancer. Okay, so basically, bottom line, if you're buying a sunscreen, it needs to be broad spectrum. In this country, certainly, I think any of the big brands, any of the company, Tesco's, and they have their own brands. I should imagine most of them these days are broad spectrum because that is what the consumer wants. And when we want it, the companies have to follow. C, I know I'm going through this pretty quick, but there's quite a lot to get through, and you can always go back and have a look at that, or ask me any questions in the comments box below. Caffeine. You very often see caffeine in products that are meant to treat maybe cellulite or puffiness underneath the eyes. I did research this. Caffeine has a distant relationship to another ingredient, another product that was thought to help cellulite and puffiness. Now, I couldn't find particularly any research to prove that caffeine can help with cellulite or puffy eyes, but then I didn't find anything to say that it definitely doesn't. It's not something I think I must have in my products, but when you see caffeine in a product, not in a sort of obviously an edible or a medical product, but in a skin product, I can't find any great proof that it's fantastic, but I don't find anything that says it's an issue or a problem. So if you have a product you're using with caffeine in it for either cellulite or puffy eyes, no reason not to use it. There are lots of other ingredients that I think we could look for that would work more. Charcoal, bizarrely enough, and I grew up, little sip of coffee, when I grew up, charcoal and coal were something we had out the back that if you were naughty during the day, you had to go and get and put on the fire, showing my age. Charcoal we see in skin products all the time now, okay? It is the blackest substance I've ever seen. There is something almost fascinating about looking at a pot of activated charcoal, which is the charcoal you have in skin products, because there is no light in there. It's like the cosmetic equivalent of a black hole. The reason that charcoal is so good at cleaning and cleansing and drying the skin is that, get this, 1 teaspoonful of activated charcoal has a surface area of more than 10,000 square feet. Now that is mind-blowing. So basically what it's saying is it's so fine that it has this massive surface area. So it's able to absorb so much. So it absorbs light when you look at it, but that's why it can be brilliant at drawing oils and grease and grime out of the skin. So that's why charcoal is everywhere and used as a cleansing product and used as a masks and things. It's because of its massive, it's not a magic ingredient in itself, but it's got this enormous surface area, so it can just absorb so much. Coenzyme Q10, you might hear that talked about or seen in products. Coenzyme Q10, it is an antioxidant, okay, so it's a good thing, and it's naturally present in our body. And as I said, antioxidants are very important to our inner health and our outer and our skin health. So it's something we naturally have ourselves. Coenzyme Q10 makes it sound, and I think they sort of like it sounding like it's something they've created and it's miraculous. It is something that's present in ourselves, so it's one of the antioxidants. If it's in a product, great. You don't want it to be the only active ingredient in a product, but that's what coenzyme Q10 is. Right, collagen. This one is a big one. So collagen, basically, I was dead posh here, I looked something up. Collagen comes from the Greek word kolla, which means glue, and the suffix, I think I'm right in saying it's a suffix of gen, which means producing. So basically, collagen is a protein that's found in our connective tissues, so in our skin, our tendons, our ligaments. It provides structure, strength and elasticity. If someone is lacking in collagen, it can cause physical defects. There are, I believe, medical conditions where people suffer from a lack of or the fibroblasts which create the collagen aren't working. So it can really affect people's bones and everything. I know that athletes in particular take oral supplements of collagen because collagen can help the recovery and the repair of muscle. So athletes that are pushing themselves all the time. And I did look up as well that collagen is introduced to wounds to speed the healing process, that knitting of the tissues. Sorry, Sky News. Harry and Meghan's cake has been revealed. Stop the clocks. So basically, collagen keeps our skin, as well as lots of other parts of our body, strong stable and elastic. As we age, our bodies naturally produce less collagen. So the more collagen and the more stimulation of those fibroblasts, I do a treatment called microdermabrasion, and I do something called radiofrequency, which is a lifting, and basically they encourage the body to produce its own collagen at a faster rate. But by introducing it to the skin topically, it can really help with the smoothness and the firmness of skin. So and that's where collagen is used very often, is fillers and in lips and things, because it's naturally present in the body and the body recognizes it and allows it to sort of lift structures and fill holes and stuff. So collagen is super important. Okay, DHA, you might see that, well, you will see that in 99%, don't quote me, of self-tan products. Basically, it's dihydroxyacetone. It's derived from sugarcane. It oxidizes. So if you think about an apple, I always use this analogy with people when I spray tan. You bite into an apple, nice white crisp flesh, you put it down on the side, come back later and it's gone brown. That's the sugars oxidizing, reaction with the oxygen in the air around them, and they turn brown. And basically that's what dihydroxyacetone does. So once it's introduced into the skin, into the upper layers of the epidermis, it soaks in and basically over time turns brown. If you have a problem, or if you're allergic to sun self-tanning, then dihydroxyacetone, it may be the ingredient that's causing you a problem. There are some other alternatives out there coming out, but dihydroxyacetone, it works, it's relatively a cheap ingredient, and it's a very natural ingredient. Spray tan, I'm biased because I love doing it, but is a relatively healthy and risk-free way to have colour, which I would much prefer to people exposing themselves to the sun. Right, moving on. Glycerin. Glycerin is found in all natural fats, both animal and plant. So there's glycerin in animal fats and plant fats, and it can be synthesized, it can be created. It's a humectant, so basically it attracts moisture from the air. So glycerin in products, it gives a nice emollient feel, it gives a nice feel to the product, but also it pulls moisture out of the air to hydrate the skin. So glycerin is a nice product to have in a skincare product. Gold. You do see, particularly in sort of Korean skincare and stuff, and Japanese skincare, which is increasingly popular, quite a lot of gold. It does have some assumed skin smoothing properties. I couldn't find particularly any research to prove that it does anything. But again, I didn't find anything to say that it was an irritant. I know silver is used in some preparations because it has great antibacterial properties. Gold didn't really seem to have any great skin properties, but it didn't seem to have any problems. I think it will give a lovely a luster, it gives a luxurious feel. Personally, it's not something that I seek in my products, but if someone gave me a glorious gift and it had some lovely gold cream, I probably would enjoy using it. But again, I couldn't really find anything to support it being like a super ingredient. I hope I'm not boring you. I'm trying to go swiftly but efficiently, especially before my phone overheats. A nice natural ingredient, green tea. Green tea tastes good, smells good, and it is a brilliant antioxidant, okay? You might see ingredients as Camellia sinensis. If you see Camellia sinensis in an ingredient, that is green tea. So it's skin soothing, antioxidant, and it can improve the appearance of sun damage. So as an antioxidant, it does seem to work quite well on signs of sun damage. Next, hemp seed. I particularly love a skin hand cream and things from the Body Shop that has hemp in there. I think it's got lots of other things. I think it's a glycerin based product, so I like that. But you'll see that sometimes as cannabis sativa. And it's used as a base emollient. It's used as kind of the base of some skin preparations. I find that I get on with it really well. It helps with my eczema sort of based problems as a hand cream. So hemp is quite a common thing. I would say hemp is generally something you reach for when you've got really dry areas. I wouldn't put hemp on my skin because my skin's still quite oily, but my hands, can't see, but I have quite bad eczema and things on my hands, so I do like the hemp creams that you can get. Hyaluronic acid, this is another really important one. Again, it's found in our skin tissue naturally, can also be synthesized. Like charcoal, it has this amazing property in its structure. It holds 1,000 times its own weight in water. So it's one of the best hydrators for skin. Hydration talks about water. Moisturization generally refers to more oil-based treatment. It's an antioxidant as well, so it helps protect the skin from external aggressors. So basically, if you have hyaluronic acid on your skin, it's pulling in moisture from the atmosphere. When I use a hyaluronic acid serum in my skincare treatments in the salon, I will immediately mist over with some kind of, usually a plant-based or a water, to start that process of absorbing water into it and holding it onto the skin. So hyaluronic acid is a really, really good product. Edabenone. I worked with Elizabeth Arden, and this was a big product in a very expensive but highly effective range of skincare we brought out when I was there. Apparently, looking at my research, it is another antioxidant, very similar to coenzyme Q10, but in high levels can really, really accelerate repair of aged skin, again depending on the level of ingredient. I will talk about that a little bit at the end about ingredient. Panthenol, you see that in skin and hair products. It attracts and holds moisture, so it's another, oh, hair's not funny, it's another humectant. Retinol, anti-aging, you will see retinol everywhere. Retinol is basically, it's vitamin A and retinol. The names you will see sort of one or the other. Most important thing, if you are buying anything that claims to have retinol in there, the packaging needs to be airtight and it needs to be protected from light. So if you're buying something that's got retinol in it or vitamin A in it and it's in a see-through pack with a lid, then either there's not very much in there or it's not in the right packaging. Vitamin A is, like vitamin C as well in skin products, is very unstable. And unless you have it airtight and protected from the light, it will degrade really quickly. It's skin restoring, anti-wrinkle, firming. It's and has antioxidant property. So retinol is available in different strengths. Some people find that high levels of retinol irritate their skin. That's why I think it's, unless you're buying something directly off the shelf, you do need advice with retinol. So if you're looking for a higher level of ingredient, you need to speak to the girl on the beauty counter, you need to speak to a beauty professional, but retinol as a product, brilliant for anti-aging. Salicylic acid, which is the one I touched on when I was talking about the AHAs, really excellent for people with blackheads and spots. It actually exfoliates inside and outside of a pore, and none of the other acids actually do that. So it also soothes and hydrates. So if you've got a blemish, if you've got a sore blemish, salicylic acid can be brilliant. And whenever I buy a little spot stick for me or anyone, I always make sure it's got salicylic acid in there, because it just seems to kind of calm everything out, cleans out that breakout and soothes everything afterwards. So salicylic acid if you're looking at spot treatments. Two very similar sounding ones now. You will see sometimes things are SLS free and they're shouting about it. They're talking about sodium lauryl and hardy sulfate, okay? That is a detergent. It's something that you have in skin washes, face washes sometimes. They're the ones that can leave the skin feeling quite dry. They're the ones that can dry the hands out. Increasingly, people don't want that. Arguably, if you buy something very, very cheap, sometimes the main detergent in there and a skin product is sodium lauryl and hardy sulfate, and we don't really want that. Can be irritating on the skin. What we do want instead is sodium laureth. I can't think of anything to go with laureth, but it's not laurel. Sodium laureth sulfate. That can come from coconuts, it can be synthesized. It's still a cleansing product, but it's much more gentle. It doesn't strip all the natural oils from the skin and upset the barrier on the skin. So we don't want sodium lauryl sulfate, and if you see something is SLS free, it means it hasn't got that harsh stripping detergent in there. But sodium lauryl TH sulfate, that's generally a much preferred cleansing detergent. We're at V already, we're nearly there. So vitamins, we see a lot of vitamins talked about with the skin. Vitamin A we've touched on is retinol, and we know that's anti-aging, it's an antioxidant. Vitamins B, B12 and B2 are not, as far as I'm aware, not found to have any great benefit on the skin. So B1, B12 and B2. B3, which you will sometimes see called niacinamide, that is good for the skin. That improves the appearance of pores. I love having things with vitamin B3 in. Uneven skin tone, dullness, weakened, tired looking surface to the skin. So vitamin B3, niacinamide, great product. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is one of the most well-researched and beneficial vitamins to the skin. You sometimes will see it called ascorbic acid. That is vitamin C, ascorbic acid. It's a really potent antioxidant. This one for the skin is brilliant. I use this on my clients, and it's kind of like a precious elixir. Brightening, skin restoring, soothing. Again, you want to see it in opaque, airtight packaging. I even keep mine in a drawer because I don't want light getting to it. So vitamin C, brilliant for brightening skin, brilliant for repairing signs of sun damage. Again, vitamin D, it's the one we always like to think we need to go in the sun and get. It is formed in skin by sunlight. It's an antioxidant. It's very soothing on the skin. It's going to always be safer to apply that topically. So it is used on people that don't have any, that can't go in the sun for whatever reason. So it's good to have it in the skin. Safe tanning, factor 50 all times, avoid the middle of the day. But if myself or a professional or a medical professional feels you need vitamin D, it can be given topically. Vitamin E, another well-known and researched antioxidant. It occurs naturally in the human skin. It can deplete due to environmental exposure with no sun protection. So vitamin D will produce in the skin with sunlight, but if you have too much sun damage, you will lose the vitamin E in your skin, which is an antioxidant. So if you're destroying that antioxidant, you are opening up more signs of aging. And the natural form of vitamin E is more beneficial than synthetic. So sometimes one is better than the other. And in this case, apparently vitamin E, you want to look for a natural form rather than a synthetic. Not always sure that we can guarantee knowing that, but it's just worth me telling you that. We've just got two more. Parabens. Parabens, we hear them talked about a lot. They're used as a preservative in products. That's what they are. They are a preservative. They are a cheap preservative as well. I am not a doctor, I'm not a medical person, big disclaimer. From what I can understand, there has been presence of parabens found in cancerous breast tumours. That does not, I believe, prove that it caused them. And I don't know if there has been similar research done on cancerous, whether there were more that had it than didn't. Basically, it has been found in some cancerous breast tissue tumours. Therefore, let's not risk it. Okay, if they are in a product and you choose not to use the product, that is absolutely your decision. If it's in a product and you choose to use it, that is your decision. So further studies have raised concerns, but are not conclusive that they cause cancer. And the industry really has taken a better safe than sorry approach. So it's very, very easy to avoid parabens now. But that's where the fear of parabens has come from, that it has been found in cancerous breast tumours. So why take any risks? Last one that I wanted to talk about, peptides. Peptides are an incredibly expensive ingredient. I remember when I did some training with Dermalogica, they made it clear. It's like rose in fragrance. It's like one of the most expensive ingredients. They are fragments of proteins. They are the fundamental building blocks of our skin. Without peptides in our skin, we have a loss of firmness, we have an appearance of wrinkles, we have change and increased texture in our skin. There are dozens and dozens of different kinds of peptides and lots of different ways you'll see peptides used in products. They need to be, like everything else here, part of another formula. You don't want a cream that just has peptides. Most creams have combinations, and synthetic peptides survive better and are more effective than natural peptides. So that's why when we have peptides applied to the skin and they've got a chemical name, that's okay, because we've actually, in rare occasions, we can actually do better than nature. So peptides are fantastic products to have in your skincare, because it is rebuilding some of that damage that losing peptides as we go on can cause. What's that, 30 minutes? Goodness me, that's a long time. I wanted to talk a little bit about some other terms, but I think we will keep that for another day because this is a long video for you all. So look out for me coming back at you very soon. I will post in the comments or the description underneath a couple of different ranges that I think have a nice combination or claim to have a nice combination of these important ingredients, and let me know which you'd like me to try out for you and give you my opinion. So thank you for watching. Sorry it's gone on a bit, and I will see you with another film soon. Bye.